Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Have you guys noticed it feels like we've been time traveling lately? I know at least 3 of my recent videos have made my head turn and say, what? First it was those political ads, like that one with all the actors from Marvel telling you to vote Democrat just cuz. Then there was just yesterday when we saw that BuzzFeed-like video crying about cultural appropriation coming from Teen Vogue. Damn, just when it felt like these bogus SJW talking points had died down for a bit, all of this started happening in just the last month, and it really feels like we're regressing back to 2016 in a lot of ways, especially in public discourse, in politics. I didn't know quite why at first, but now, I think I've put it all together. It feels like it's 2016 again because it's election season again in America, and this is a big reason why we're seeing all the same left-wing talking points and strategies popping up once again too, despite most of them being debunked and proven false years ago, over and over again. Like, for another example, today's story is about the gender pay gap, a topic which I and many others tackled over 2 years ago. I have a playlist with 5 different videos dating back to early 2016 if you're interested, link below. It's a topic that's certainly been done to death, and that's why I was kind of surprised a prominent major news network organization like NBC were going with this story. Here's a tweet they sent out just a few days ago, November 3rd, 2018. Women make 80.5 cents for every dollar a man earns. And it turns out this gender pay gap starts early, as soon as girls are old enough to take on household chores and first jobs, according to a new study. Wow, they're seriously taking the gender pay gap myth this far. They're taking it so far, they're saying household chores for children are biased against the girls. Absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Not to mention it's based on a fake, lie, made up, misleading gender pay gap myth, which doesn't even exist. Women don't make 80 cents for every dollar a man makes. Really, if you interpret this data honestly and scientifically, what these studies actually say is that, on average, when a woman makes 80 cents, a man makes $1. And it's not because of biases or sexism or unfair business practices. It's because men work more hours at harder jobs, and women work less in easier jobs, so they naturally make less. It would actually be weird and unfair if they did make the same right now, because women are not working the same. They're not working as many hours, and their jobs aren't as tough, dangerous, or needing of as much training. Regardless, there's no need to debunk the gender pay gap to death again, but I do think it's worth mentioning because, shit, if NBC is going to keep pushing this baloney, someone needs to be knocking it down too. Baloney. I think I'm hungry because now I want a sandwich. Anyway, this also shows that the liberals have really not learned anything. They haven't grown or improved on one goddamn thing in over 2 years. All they're doing now for their 2018 pitch to voters is giving them the same bullshit from 2016. Identity politics, SJW stuff, feminism, and all that bullcrap. They're doubling down on crap that made them lose before. And people are sick of that, and they know this SJW stuff is wrong too. And more importantly, pertaining to today's story, this is clearly not news. This tweet may say it's from an account called NBC News, but it really isn't that. This isn't current, relevant information people in the public deserve to see in a fair and unbalanced, factual way. Not at all. Pushing the gender pay gap is spreading misinformation. It's biased, misleading lies which the leftists at NBC are peddling to try and help Democrats win the midterm elections. And that, my friends, is not news at all. This is straight up liberal propaganda. Now, we can almost end things here. I think I already BTFO'd NBC pretty BAD, but we do still have some time left. So why not use it and have some fun? Let's go ahead and take a look at NBC's stupid article linked here. You know, for shits and gigs. It's called The Gender Pay Gap Starts Earlier Than You Think. Check this out. Women make 80.5 cents for every dollar a man earns. And it turns out this gender pay gap starts early, as soon as girls are old enough to take on household chores and first jobs. According to a new study by Bank and Brokerage from Charles Schwab, the wage gap starts at home, with boys earning twice as much as girls for doing household chores each week, said Carrie Schwab Pomerantz, senior vice president at Charles Schwab and daughter of the firm's founder. Greg Merced, CEO and co-founder of the household chore app Busy Kid, agreed that the wage gap starts quite early. While boys rake in an average weekly allowance of $13.80, girls earn just $6.71. According to his company's data, boys are also awarded larger bonuses by their parents. I do not think this is a conspiracy against girls, but I think the types of jobs that boys are given by parents at home are more strenuous, like mowing the lawn and washing the car, and as a result, the boys are earning more, Merced said. The solution? He said parents should encourage girls to also take on more challenging chores. Merced gave the example of his own daughter, who has taken on trimming the bushes for a higher rate. What? Jesus Christ. I think NBC just debunked itself before I could even get to it. I was already guessing the boys got more allowance because they did harder chores, and boom, the article showed that was true a few lines later. And this is the same reason men make more than women too in real jobs. By the way, it's because the females choose to work less at less intense jobs. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I have no problem with women's career choices, and I have no problem with men doing the heavy lifting too and getting paid more for it. But what is troubling is when pay gap bullshit like this is used against men, used to call us sexist, unfair, biased pigs, which is just not true at all. Women are doing this to themselves, and surprise, surprise, they're also the ones complaining about it here today too, which is shown by everyone involved in this NBC story being women. The writer and the Charles Schwab lady are spearheading this, and they're all chicks who are just salty because men make more money, even though we clearly deserve it. And next, there's this whole let's encourage women to work in these male-dominated fields. And well, to me, it just sounds plain stupid. I mean, I don't mind it, and I think it's fine for girls to empower themselves and seek better jobs, but to me, the way they're going about it is just pretty lame and petty. Sounds more like they're jealous someone's getting more money, so they want to find ways to diversify things and hire women over men just cuz. That's where this argument goes. Make no mistake. The gender pay gap is all about pushing diversity and feminism and pushing for more women to be put into things like jobs, regardless of their skills or experience or expertise, or whether or not the competition is better. It's all about affirmative actioning girls and minorities into everything, because straight white men, well, we had our time. And if it was up to the liberals and SJWs, our time would be over in a heartbeat. The left doesn't mind being unfair and racist towards whites because, in their eyes, we have it coming. But being successful and dominant is our only sin, and quite frankly, I don't see any problem with being good, strong, and right all the time. The only problem I see is women and minorities and liberals, they're jealous of us because of this. Yasmin Basin Casino, author of The Cost of Being a Girl and a sociology professor at Montclair State University, believes the pay gap starts around 14 or 15 years old and widens with age. She said one reason is that young girls stay in freelance positions like babysitting, and boys move into employee-type jobs like working for a landscaping company. In employing babysitters, for example, girls are given less pay than their male counterparts, said Basin Casino, and it's more chores and more unpaid hours, she added. While this trend often starts at home, it almost always takes a village to help overcome these inequalities. In an experiment that Basin Casino designed with parents, she found that when girls asked for a raise, they were less likely than boys to get one. Well, now's a good time to say something I don't think these leftists or NBC have thought of at all. Working a job and choosing a career is not all about the money. Sure, you want to get paid and you need to pay your bills, but most people will still choose a field in something they're at least interested in, or at most, very dedicated to. If you want to make mad money, you become a doctor, lawyer, or business investor or something. But if you want to do something you like, a lot of people will take a more average salary to do it. Women who become teachers don't do it for the cash. It's out of passion. And men who build houses aren't doing it to get rich either. They're doing it because it's a skill they enjoy using. Basically, what I'm getting at is people pick their fields and jobs based on a wide variety of factors besides pay. And I can't help but notice this NBC article and a lot of other pay gap pushers, they only focus on the pay, the wage, the money, the salary of a job. And if we're being honest, this is one of the later things most people worry about when considering work. Basin Casino believes that this problem must be resolved early on. I found that these early experiences in getting low pay have long-term effects and follows women around for many decades to come, she said. Regardless of how much they are earning, girls show more financial grit than boys. Schwab Pomeranitz, why are all these girls having hyphenated names? Did you notice that? Frickin' feminist, man. Schwab Pomeranitz said, the females surveyed in the study are more aware of their day-to-day finances like budgeting and spending, and more girls than boys understand the value of making a financial plan. Girls are also more willing to take on additional work to make ends meet, which further supports the idea that girls are more driven to reach financial independence, she said. Still, while girls 16 to 25 spend 30% less than boys, they still have far less savings than boys, $1,200 versus $2,000, a nearly 60% difference according to the Charles Schwab report, Young Adult Financial Literacy. Parents should start a dialogue with their young children about the importance of saving for important life milestones, including retirement. Well, I don't know what else to say here. This article is seriously trying to discuss how much money kids and teenagers make from washing cars and babysitting. This is the biggest non-problem I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sure their data on all these kids and their savings is in no way legit, just like their bullshit interpretation of the pay gap data. NBC is all wrong. How would they even know if a kid named Billy only has $100 in savings anyway? Did they count out all the nickels and dimes in his piggy bank? Or what about his baseball card collection? That's gotta at least be worth $22 or something. But seriously though, this is really dumb, and there's no way to know if 13-year-old boys are getting paid more for their chores than the girls. It's just a silly premise, and NBC should be embarrassed for seriously bringing this up. Really what's going on here is they know this pay gap myth is dead, so this article about the kids, it's a last-ditch effort at reviving it, just before the midterm elections too. Coincidence? I think not. NBC knew this story was dead, so they pulled this epic reach and made up some bullshit about kids getting paid unfairly for folding laundry and mowing the lawn. Absolutely ridiculous and embarrassing, and it's all based on a lie. In the end, we all know the gender pay gap myth is deader than Hillary Clinton's political career. Ba-doom-ching. Women aren't paid 80 cents for every dollar a man makes. They make less because they work less at easier jobs. I know it, you know it, and I'd venture to bet even NBC knows it deep down. Someone there knows it for sure, and that's why I say they're really not a news reporting agency anymore. What they're doing is they're pushing feminist, SJW, liberal, and communist propaganda, and that sucks. What do you guys think? Is the gender pay gap still a thing? Do you agree this is all coming up again because of the midterm elections? And did you vote? And will this doubling down from the left help them win, or will they lose with this strategy once again? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and don't forget to check out our links below this video's description. We got that playlist for more pay gap videos and all kinds of other fun stuff, so check them out, and thanks again for watching today. We'll see y'all next time.